So we can divide security into two forms: internal security and external security. So internal security is actually the threats or attacks from internal users, or you can see the competition or contention between or among processes, while external security is actually from external users. External users may first enter in the system and then will launch an attack. So they have to search for weak points in the system for this entry, right? Similarly, if we further go towards attack, then the attack is also divided into two types. One is active attacks, and number two is passive attacks. In active attacks, the attackers destroy the data, the information, or any other resources of the users. So in active, there is destruction, while in passive type of attack, the attackers observe. The attacker role is as an observer, and it observes all activities of the user and collect, or you can say gather, information about all those activities. So there is a possibility that later on the passive attack will be converted to active attack. So these are two different types of attack that may happen inside an operating system environment. Active, in which the attacker destroy the contents, the information, and the resources of user, while in passive attack, he simply observe, and he's either it will have some impact are some threat for the system? If so, then he will convert this passive attack into active attack. So coming back toward these slides, in security, here are the content of this lecture. What is a security problem, program threats, system and network threats, then onward some tools for security purposes, how to ensure user authentication, and then implementing security defensing, the firewall mechanism, and the computer security classification, and then we will have an example in perspective of Windows operating system. So here is the security problem. Security must consider external environment of the system and protect the system resources. That's why I told you earlier that there are two types of attack and you have to differentiate them. And similarly, you have two types of security. Either it's against the internal attacks, or it's the internal security mechanism, or it's against the external attacks, and that will be the external security mechanism. So here you can see then the intruders or crackers attempt to breach the system security. So this is the process in which the intruders or attackers are looking for the weak points inside the system, and they actually exploit those weak points to get the internal control, or to get into that system to have access to the confidentiality, or you can say the secure, or you can say the personal information or personal data. Threat is a potential security violation. Look at this. If there is some threat, it means a weak points that can be revoked by any attacker, and he can use it, or he can exploit it and launch an attack against you. Attack is actually an attempt to breach the security that you are actually violating, and you are actually bypassing all the security techniques or mechanisms used to enter the system, and you are trying to get entry through some unfair mean activities, or you can say the illegal activities or illegal access to that particular system. Attack can be accidental or malicious. Sometimes it may be, for example, if you are searching a system, so it's not necessary that your intention is to do something wrong, but unintentionally you are moving forward due to less knowledge about that system, and that can be sometime considered as an attack towards system side. Though your attention is not to launch an attack, but you are in a process to search different things. And on the other side, your activities, your commands, your clicks on the systems, or your request towards system may be considered as malicious. It is easier to protect against accidental than malicious misuse as well. So if there is any accidental attack, you can easily recover it from that, and you can identify the path which can be used or which can be exploited for launching an attack, and you can further close all those loopholes. Building block of the secure systems, as I told you about, that there are some specified requirement for security or secure system, and the first one is the confidentiality. Confidentiality is concealment from unauthorized parties. You need to identify every party who want to get access, and similarly you should also authenticate them, and you should also verify the authorization that for which services. Look at this, a server or a system may be able to provide 100 different type of services, but it doesn't mean that every user is authorized to all those 100 services. So that's why you have to ensure that for which he is an authentic user, but for which services he actually subscribe, or for which he is paying, or for which he is authorized to use. So authentication, user assurance that the parties involved in a real-time transactions are who they say they are. And that's you have to confirm your claim through some password, through some code. And you have seen the new mechanism they are using, that they send some code on your personal cell phone number, and then are your email address, and then you have to put the code and to verify the authentication. Similarly, in authorization, allowing users who are identified and authenticated to use. Look at this, you are authorized to use, but either you have this authorization to use this particular service, like for example, you are an authentic user of Bank of America, but it doesn't mean that you have access to all their services. Your authorization is also defined as per your account package, as per your credit card. Either it's a platinum, it is a golden gold card, or what kind of credit card you have, or what services you have activated, or the balance you can spend through this credit card. So you are authorized to use, for example, $1,000 per day. Similarly, next one is the integrity. And integrity is actually the assurance that the data has not been modified by unauthorized party. There is no non-repudiation, and the proof of integrity and origin of data which can be verified. So it means there is no misuse, or you can say there is no alteration inside the data on its way toward the destination node. Availability is that the system should be available for the users whenever they need. Or you can see that whenever any server or any website is not available, they also send a message to their user before that our system or server will be down for maintenance for on this day from this time to this time. So they actually want to ensure, if you want to do something on server, so the server will be available at this time, but it will not be available due to some maintenance problem or due to some other problems in this time. So that's why availability is also very important building block. Another important thing you can see over here, that we have different types of viruses, bots, and fish which are used to launch an attack. What is information security? Information security deal with several different trust aspect of information and protection as well. Look at this, the US government National Information Assurance Glossary define InfoSec as protection of information system against unauthorized access to or modification of information, whether in storage, processing, or transit, and against the denial of service to authorized user or the provision of service to unauthorized user, including those measures necessary to detect, document, and counter such threats. So look at this, it's not only to access, to unauthorized access, or similarly, it also have that stop access of authorized user, as well as to look at this, as well as to modify these information in the transit. So all these activities will be considered as a kind of attack, and all these activities are actually illegal. And that's why the system, the server should provide security to someone personal information against all these types of attack. We also have the malware, that is the hostile, intrusive, or annoying software or program code that can be, look at this, malicious plus software. And it includes computer viruses, worms, Trojan horse, bots, spyware, and adware. There are many other types as well, but I have mentioned the most common malwares. You also look while visiting different websites, or sometime many websites send you a request that you have won this prize, you have won this prize. So these are actually some sort of malware and viruses. The software is considered malware based on the intent of the creator rather than in any particular feature. And you can also look into the pirated copies of CDs or software or games that you bought. The pirated copies also have some these malwares or viruses or threats as a gift, so that can be used against the exploitation of the system. So this is very important to mention, that you should also always buy the original software instead of getting it from the pirated copy. Another threat or another means is internet bot, which is also known as web robot, that are automated internet application controlled by software agent. These bots interact with network services intended for people carrying out monotonous tasks. And in this communication, you means the internet bots actually get some uh, some confidential information from the system. And you can see that bots can gather information, reply to queries, provide entertainment, and serve commercial purposes as well. The botnet is a network of zombie computers used to do automated tasks. So I hope you know about these zombies. There are many movies even on zombie, and you can see that these botnets actually work as a zombie inside a computer network. Another one is the adware, where advertising supported software uh, are used for a take purpose. A software package which automatically displays or download advertising material to a computer after the software is installed on it or while the application is being used. The adware is software integrated into or bundled with a program. For example, you are looking for a job and you download a software to give you or to gather all those advertisements related to job. You are you are looking for some vehicles, some good vehicles, you are looking for some property, some flat or a house, then you can use these software. So these adware is software integrated into or bundled with a program, and typically is a way to recover programming development costs through advertising income. Another one is the spyware, where a broad category of software designed to intercept or take partial control of a computer's operation without the informed content of that machine's owner or legitimate user. So look at this, it's a kind of, again, a software category that provide access to some personal information of users, and you have seen that there are many activities going on, and then they use this material for blackmailing purposes. Even some high profile people systems were actually accessed through this mechanism of spyware. In simpler terms, spyware is a type of program that watches what users do with their computer and then send that information over the internet. And that's what I told you in terms of passive attack, that the system or the attacker will not destroy any resource on the system, but they will keep the record of all his activities. Spyware can collect many different types of information about the user, like it can record the type of a website a user visits, the record what is typed by the user to intercept password or credit card numbers. So look at this, you can have access to his credit card numbers, to his password, to his personal data, to his personal file, to his personal pictures, to his family picture, and it can be used to launch pop-up advertisement as well. Many legitimate companies incorporate firms of spyware into their software for purposes of advertisements like adware. And you have seen that sometime while you are accessing even a lecture online, or you want to access some video, or you want to access any document, then they ask you that first you have to install this player, first you have to install this driver, first you have to install this software, then you would be able to access our resources, or you will be able to access the file, the video, the audio, or the image you want to access or you are requesting for. So they are actually pushing, and unintentionally sometimes you click on yes and install that software or the spyware, and then further they get access to your computer. Similarly, spamming is the abuse of electronic messaging system to send unsolicited, undesired bulk messages. And spam media includes, look at this, you also have the email spam, most widely recognized form, instant messages spam, Usenet news group, and similarly web search and spam in blogs, and another one as mobile phone messaging spam. Similarly, phishing is a criminal activity using social engineering techniques. So in phishing, this is an attempt to acquire sensitive data such as password and credit card detail by masquerading as trustworthy person or business in an electronic communication. That you are pretending that you belong to this bank, you belong to this one, and you show your credentials or you show your identity as a trustworthy person, and you deceive the user or the customer and get his personal information or his credit card financial information. It is typically carried out using email or an instant message. And you have seen, as I told you, that you get access, you get emails from different websites that you have won this lottery and you have won this prize, so you have to provide your account detail and we will transfer money to your account, or we can put it on your credit card as well. There are certain security violations and in which different categories are. The first one is the breach of confidentiality, the breach of integrity, availability, the theft of service, denial of service, and there are certain methods like masquerading and reply attack, means the message modification in on link or in between sender and receiver, the man in middle attack, and similarly the session hijacking. You can see over here in this diagram, the first diagram actually show normal communication. The sender send data and the receiver receive data. And the attacker is silent. And next, this is the masquerading attack. Sender is silent, sender don't know about it, but the attacker actually pretend that I am the sender. And he gave the identity of sender to the receiver, and the receiver also accept or trust his message without going into the authentication process. So both of them start this communication. So this is masquerading by using the identity of someone else and start communication with the legitimate receiver. Another one is man in middle attack. You can see he is also deceiving to the sender as well as receiver. To sender side, the attacker say that I am the receiver, and to receiver side, the attacker say that I am the sender. And you can see over here that sender and receiver think that they are communicating to each other, but actually attacker get data from sender, make a copy of it, and then send it to the receiver. And then receiver send data to attacker, attacker make a copy of that, and then send it to sender. So both of them, sender and receiver, consider that they are communicating directly with one another, but actually the case is different from that. And the attacker saved this data, his messages, and he actually analyzed or observed and get the information about his interest. There are certain security measure levels. Security must occur at 4 levels to be effective. The first one is the physical security, that you should have locked the system, you should have some proper mechanism like a room for your server, a separate room for your server, and that should be fully secured through from window side, that no one can enter through window, no one can enter through any other side, or the door should be properly locked that no one can break it. Similarly, there should be a security guard as well as a human, as an administrator, that his presence must be confirmed 24 by 7 over there in the server room. Next is the operating system, that is actually a software security, and you see that now even the operating systems are using their own antivirus and their own firewalls. By default, it comes with the operating system. Earlier, if you know, there was a Norton antivirus that come with the Windows operating system. And later on, they even start with the McAfee. McAfee saw antivirus was also used for some time. Then onward, the network security, it means that the network systems or the network server or the network firewall should be secured. Security is as weak as the weakest chain. So always there is a need or space for improvement of the security. But you have to consider your financial budget as well while proposing or installing any security mechanism that you should know about, that how much it will cost for the system. There are some other program threats like Trojan horse. Trojan horse, you can see over here, the code segment that misuse its environment and exploit mechanism for allowing program written by user to be executed by other user. So it means in Trojan horse, you give access to attacker computer that they can access and they can implement or they can execute programs on the user system. So that is a kind of access you are providing, illegal or illegitimate access to the attacker system. And you can see the example is the spyware, the pop-up browser windows. That's why there are many software or many drivers that comes in the pop-up windows that you should allow, then onward you will have access to the user resources. Another one is the trapdoor, a specific user identifier or password that circumvents normal security procedure and could be included in a compiler as well. So trapdoor is again another activity that can be used to trap someone, to trap any user, and to attract him towards something attractive. There is another logic bomb program that initiate a security incident under certain circumstances. So in this logic bomb, sometime there may be based on any activity, like when you access, sometime it be based on any activity. When you click on this file and sometime you download that file, or the attacker pushes the user to download. And when you download the file and then click on the file, then the bomb actually activated. and some of them may be based on any particular date, sometime maybe opening any website. And look at this file will actually give you access to this web, that you should click on this web and access this website, and indirectly this website will have a link to activate this logic bomb. Next one is stack and buffer overflow. It exploits a bug in a program which overflow either the stack or the memory buffer. So you will have enough space inside your memory, but the system or the software or the virus will give you a message that there is no space available inside system. So here you can see there is a typical layout stack. Over here the bottom to top, and the addresses actually grow in this direction. Here is the return address, the save frame pointer. This is the free space where you can bring any program. These are different variables and parameters used for different purposes. In hypothetically stake frame, you can see that before a take, the system is stable. You have space for everything. You have buffer, you have a kernel, a monitor, and many other things. But over here, if you can see after a take, then there is a modified shell as well. There is no operation, and address structure is actually modified over here. And because of this modification, the software which is actually an attacker in this situation will give a wrong message to the user that there is no space inside the system. Program threats may include viruses that are code fragment embedded in legitimate program. As I told you, that software, it is not necessary that software will come from any other source. Sometimes the user by itself involved to bring software to its system. It is very specific to CPU architecture and operating system and applications. And the user allow these viruses to come inside his system. It is usually born through email or as a macros. And you have seen that you have to install macros, especially it comes in Word file, especially in Access, that you have to install these macros. You can see Visual Basic to reformat hard drive. The Visual Basic macros actually reformat the drives of the system. The virus dropper insert virus onto the system, and there are many categories of viruses. Literally many thousands of viruses are available these days, and these categories are file. Look at this. These viruses attach themselves with the file, and when you copy file, the virus will be automatically transferred over there. Similarly with the boot, with your BIOS, with your macros, with your source code, with your polymorphic, encrypted, stealth, tunneling, and multi-party or ARM. You can see over here the example of a boot sector computer virus. That virus copy its boot sector to unused location, and then onward virus replace the original boot block with itself. And later on, the system, when the system boot, virus decrease the physical memory, hide inside that memory above new limit. And that's what we also see over here in this slide, that look at this, that how the system is before attack and how the system memory structure is after the attack. So this is totally changed, and even the address structures are changed over there. So therefore, the user receive the memory is less to install or to save this data. And all these things may happen inside your smartphone as well. That the smartphone is also a place where the virus resides, and they can send you wrong messages as well. Virus attaches to disk read, write, interrupt, and monitor all disk activities. Whenever new or removable read-write disk is installed, it infects that as well. So whenever, if you are attaching a pen drive or a USB with your system, the virus will also jump there. It blocks any attempt of other programs to write the boot sector, and it has a logic bomb as well to wreak the havoc at a certain date. As I told you earlier, that this logic bomb may be activated with the help of any particular activity. That whenever you click, you access, you give this command, you visit this website, then this will be activated and will cause certain destruction. Or in other case, it may be based on some date when that date actually arrive and you on your computer, then it will be activated. System and network threats are worms. Worm is a standalone malware computer program that replicates itself in order to spread to other computers. And as I told you, that is mentioned in last slide, that there is some capabilities of certain viruses that they can replicate themselves, and they can attach themselves to any file, to any directory, to any external device, and even sometime with your email. Internet worms spread through internet, and they are grappling hook program uploaded main worm programs. Here is also an example over here. The Morris Internet Worm, you can see over here, this is the target system, and this is the infected system over here on the other side. So actually there is a communication between this target system and the infected system. So worm send a request over here in the first part, and then onward this hook, which is grappling hook used over here at target, it actually invite this worm, and then onward the attacker or the worm send mail attack, and then onward finger out this attack with the help of this hook. And similarly, the attack is launched, and then onward your system will be fully infected. So you can see that you have the target system have nothing, but they simply send this hook, which actually send a message or a request to this worm, and then it is transferred to the other system. The next one is the port scanning, automated attempt to connect to a range of ports on one or a range of IP addresses or mail server listen on TCP port 25. So look at this, these are actually your port numbers with the help of which you can access, and you can look at the port numbers inside the system, that which port is weak, which port is available to launch an attack. A port scan attack therefore occurs when an attacker sends packet to your machine wearing the destination port. The next one is denial of service, in which you overload the targeted computer, preventing it from doing any useful work. You actually prevent it from doing any useful work. And the extended version of this denial of service attack is DDoS attack that come from multiple sites at the same time. And let me explain over here this denial of service attack and distributed denial of service attack over here on the whiteboard. So you can see here we have a server. Here's the server machine. And these are the users, the client. there are 4 clients. Actually, the client 1 sent too much request, too many requests to the users or to the server, and this is the memory, and this is request, 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 and request. So these all requests are actually sent by the user. That is the client 1. So the server is busy with these requests, and these users C2, C3, and C4 are unable to access the resource. So which means the server is available, but it is blocked by client 1 through many irrelevant requests to keep the server busy and unable to respond to other user. Like in this case, it is C4, C2, and C3. So this is a kind of DOS attack. The system is unable to give access to the user. And the next one is DDoS attack, distributed denial of service attack. And in this is the server, and you have these clients. This is C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, and C6. And there is another one that is C7. So actually, in distributed denial of service, instead of single user, you divide the burden on all users. And this is, look at this, this is node number 7, who is calling all these users to send a request to the server. So he is telling all these users to send a request to the server, and based on this instruction, everyone is sending a request to the server. So this is again a kind of denial of service attack, that the server will be busy in too many requests by C1, by C2, by C3, by C4, by C5, and C6, and then again C1. So the server will be busy in resolving these requests and will not be able to do any good job. So this is actually a kind of distributed denial of service attack, that you distribute your burden inside the system. So here is the solution. Cryptography as a security tool. You can use this cryptography. There are security tools available in the system. Source and destination of messages cannot be trusted without the cryptography. So it is very important for every node that they should have this cryptographic mechanism to ensure the authorization, the authenticity of nodes. It means to constrain potential senders means sources are the receiver, the destination node of the messages. So here we have different keys. As I told you even in last class that we will have different types of keys used for encryption and decryption purposes. Here in this example, you can see the secure communication is taking place between sender and receiver. The sender node actually send a message and he write a message M. You can see over here, there is the message M, and then onward it is sent into plain text, and then onward with the help of this encryption key, it is converted into a ciphertext. With this encryption key, and this ciphertext is actually in the form of, you can see that is not understandable by the user, and you can see the attacker can see this message but he is unable to take any information from this message. On the back door you can see that the user and receiver change key with one another, and here the key exchange is given over here at the back side. They can use another channel to share this key, and then onward the receiver, after receiving this message, he will decrypt this data and will get the actual messages. So here is the mechanism, and let me explain it again on the whiteboard that how this process will take place. This is a single key encryption process, which means both sender and receiver will have the same key, right? So number one, let me explain that the key should be shared through any other channel. For example, if this is a sender and here is the receiver node, then they can meet somewhere in the restaurant and can share key with one another. So he's giving this key to this, but the same communication channel should not be used over here. Another one is you have a message that is the original message. It will be in the form of plain text. And when you pass it through the encryption key, then it will be converted into ciphertext. So then the system will be used. Let me write over here. Here, same key is used for encryption and decryption of messages. So that's why we say that it is a kind of single key process. Another example, let me give you another example. We have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, and N. And we give them these alphabets numbering. So this is a sender node, and here is the receiver node. The sender node want to send, for example, a word bed to the receiver node. So if we look at this, the bed is actually in digital form. It will be B for 2, A for 1, and D for 4. And then onward, if we use a key, that is key is 2, for example. Here key is 2, so you will do the addition of 2, 2, 2, and over here you will get 4, 3, and 6. So if you send 4, 3, and 6, then the word that you will get after this will be D, C, and F. So D, C, and F is totally different from bad. And even D, C, and F will not make any sense to the attacker node if we get it over here from the link. It will not make any sense for the attacker that what this DCF means. Once this information is received here, he will simply convert it into digits as per above mentioned technique. So it will again be 4, 3, and 6. Here you have done the submission process, the addition process, and over here you will do the subtraction process. And you will subtract this 2 from these digits. So here you will get 2, 1, and 4. And once you convert it into the alphabet, you will get the original message, that is bed. So now you should understand that this bed is actually the plain text. This is plain text. This is the key, and this one is called ciphertext. So actually the ciphertext will travel on your link DCF. The ciphertext will go over here. Then again the same key is used for decryption process. This is the decryption process, and this process is called encryption process. And I hope now you would be able to understand what we studied here in this slide. So here it is. This is the message in the form of plain text. Then we apply the encryption key. And with the help of this encryption algorithm, we convert it into the ciphertext. Even the attacker gets the ciphertext, he is unable to understand the actual meaning or information inside this message. Then the user received the ciphertext and use the decryption key that is almost the same like encryption key, and after decryption he get the plain text and the message from this. So here you can see the encryption process. Encryption algorithm consists of set of keys, set of messages, set of ciphertext messages means the encrypted messages, and set of means plain text messages and ciphertext messages. Over here you can see a function E is equal to, this is the K is key, and then onward through this key you will convert the actual message into the ciphertext. That is, for each K belongs to capital K. It means you can have 100 or 1000 of key and you can use any key among this. So EK is a function for generating ciphertext from the messages. So this is the way through which you can get the ciphertext. Both E and EK for any K should be efficiently computable function, and similarly a function D that is used for decryption, and with the help of this key you can convert the ciphertext into plain text or message. That is, for each K that belongs to capital K, DK is a function for generating messages from ciphertext. So you can get the actual message with the help of this K, which is the key, and both D and DK, function of DK for any K should be efficiently computable function. Computer holding DK can decrypt ciphertext to the plain text used to produce them, but a computer not holding DK cannot decrypt the ciphertext. So it means the decryption key, the key is very important even to decrypt the message. If you don't have this key, you would not be able to decrypt the message from encrypted text that you receive. So now going toward the symmetric algorithm, as we discussed that we have same key in symmetric algorithm, and same key used to encrypt and decrypt, where EK can be derived from DK and vice versa. And look at this. This is the DES, is an encryption algorithm, and it is most commonly used symmetric block encryption algorithm created by US government. It encrypts a block of data at a time. And there are different are different algorithms, encryption algorithms. So in symmetric, we'll use same key for encryption, and while in asymmetric, it use for encryption and decryption. And the two keys here are public and private key. The public key is actually used for encryption, and the private key is used for decryption. And another thing is, in this encryption algorithm, you can say consider data or take data in the form of block. So block is actually a big chunk of data, like 1, 2, 3, 4. And look at this, we also have a space. And in this, it consider it as a stream of data. So you should also know about that either an encryption algo take data in the form of block or stream. And that's why here in this slide, the author mentioned here. Yeah, DES is most commonly used symmetric block encryption. You can see here in the third line, the block encryption algorithm. And that's why I explained that what is block encryption and what is stream encryption. RC4 is most common symmetric stream cipher, but known to have vulnerabilities as well. RC4 is also used as stream cipher. I hope you know about what is block cipher and what is stream cipher. It encrypts and decrypts a stream of bytes, like in wireless communication. Key is an input to pseudo-random bit generator, and it generates an infinite key stream as well. Here you can see the asymmetric encryption. In asymmetric, public key encryption based on each user having two keys. And as I told you, that public key, published key used to encrypt data, and it is available to the public user. It is available to all users in the field. And next is the private key, the key known only to individual users, used to decrypt data as well. It must be an encryption scheme that can be made public without making it easy to figure out the decryption scheme. The most common algorithm is RSA, which is a block cipher, and now efficient algorithm is known for finding the prime number of a number as well. Over here you can see in asymmetric, it is computationally infeasible to derive DKD, which is n is a prime number, from EKE n, and so EKE, that is key for encryption, and n, the prime number, need not to be kept secret. Here you can see that encryption process is EKE, that is the public key used for encryption, and the prime number are just KE is a public key. And similarly, DKD, key for decryption, and prime number are just KD is the private key. N is the product of two large randomly chosen prime numbers P and Q. For example, P and Q are 512 bits each. So here the encryption algorithm is EKE, where n is prime number and m is actually the message. and it is equal to m exponential ke modulus mod n, where ke satisfies ke kd, and mod, that is the modulus p minus 1 into q minus 1, is equal to 1. And look at this equation. The left hand side of the equation should be equal to the right hand side. Then it will be considered as a good technique, or it will be considered as a correct option. The decryption algorithm is then dkd and the prime number n and the ciphertext, that is equal to c exponential kd and then modulus n. Over here you can see in this example that we have p is equal to 7 and q is equal to 13. We then calculate n, this is the prime number, and here prime number is by 7 multiplied by 13, which is 91. And you can see over here that as per our formula here in the last slide, over here you can see p minus 1 into q minus 1. Over here you can see p minus 1 into q minus 1 is equal to 17. So therefore, we next select KE, that is key for encryption, relatively prime to 72 and greater than 72, yielding 5. Finally, we calculate that KD such that KE and KD modulus 72 is equal to 1, and it's yielding 29. So we have our keys as a public key is equal to KE, key for encryption, as it comes from here is 5, and then we have the prime number, that is N91, which come from here on the second line, 7 multiplied by 13. On the other side, we have the private key where KD is used for key for decryption, and it is 29. And similarly, we have the same prime number, that is 91, and it's given over here. Encrypting the message 69 with the public key result in the ciphertext 62. So when you encrypt this message 69 with the help of this key KE, then it will be converted into 62, and the ciphertext can be decoded with the private key, and
I
public
was connected to the class.
can be distributed in clear text to anyone who wants to communicate with the key holder. Over here in this diagram, you can see that the other author actually wants to write 69, which is a message. It is a plain text message, and then onward, the sender node encrypt it with the help of this key. And you can see over here that in encryption, he used the encryption key with 5 and 91. So K 69 exponential 5 and modulus 91, if you calculate it with the help of a calculator, then you will get 62. And then it is transferred to the receiver node, and your receiver use the decryption key, which is 29, and the prime number 91. So that's why 62 exponential 29 and the modulus is 91. And if you calculate this 62 exponential power 29 and then modulus 91 will be taken as 69. So after decryption, you will get the original message, that is 69, from this message. Over here, note the symmetric cryptography based on transformation, asymmetric based on mathematical function. So these are the differences that in asymmetric we have seen. In symmetric we have seen that it is based on transformation, that we transform different entities or different digits or different alphabets into others, while asymmetric is based on mathematical function. Asymmetric is computationally more complex, and that's why the public and private key, that is asymmetric algorithm used for encryption, is more complex. It needs more memory, it needs more processing power, and that's why you cannot install, or you cannot execute, or you cannot use it on low power devices. It is typically not used for bulk data encryption as well. So that is also a very important parameter. Similarly, authentication, which is a process of validating the identity of someone or something. Generally, authentication requires that the presentation of credentials or item of value to really prove the claim of who you are. So look at this. For example, if I ask you that either you are an authenticated user of the system, then show me. And then in that case, you have to prove or justify your authenticity based on your student card, based on your registration number, based on your course enrollment card, based on your other information available on the university website. So you can show it to anyone that you are an authenticated user, you are authorized, you are enrolled in this course, and these items of value or credentials are based on several unique factors that show something you know, something you have, or something you are. So you are a student, you have your student ID or student card, and you also have access to this course or to Canvas. Constraining set of potential senders of a message, it is complementary and sometimes redundant to encryption as well. It is also used as a proof message unmodified. The concept of this authentication algorithm is, you can see over here, that a set of k keys, a set of messages, and a set A of authenticators as well, where a function s into k, that is the key and the message, and then the authenticator, that is for each k belongs to capital K, and function of sk is a function for generating authenticators from messages. So you can also generate these authenticators that which ensure that this is really a message from an authenticated user. A function of v of k into message and then authenticator, and you can see over here that either it is true or it is false, where k again belongs to capital K, where vk is a function for verifying the authenticators on the of the message. Both v and vk for any k should be efficiently computable. So you can verify, you can provide the authenticator code, and then onward you can provide the verification code to any user. Similarly, you can see over here for this message, he applied the authenticator code, and then onward he used that either it is true or it is false. Computer holding SK can generate authenticators on messages so that any other computer processing VK for verification can verify them. The computer not holding SK cannot generate any authenticator because he don't have this access on the message, and that can be verified using VK. Since authenticators are generally exposed, for example, they are sent on the network with the message themselves, it must not be feasible to derive SK from the authenticators. Here you can see in this diagram as well, we have the message. Uh, it condenses arbitrary message to fixed size, and hash is used to detect changes to the message as well. It can use in various ways. Over here you can see a hash function produces a fingerprint of some file messages of data, where h is equal to the hash, and then h into m is equal to the hash apply on a message. Here in this diagram, you can see M is the message, and then onward it is passed to this hash function, and then onward encrypted with a key, and then passed over here, and over here you can get that the next node can get this message, and over here the gray space is the hash. So here he can pass this hash only through decryption, and over here he can get the actual data, and then they compare it with the hash over here, and then after comparison, if it's the same, then it means the message is correct. It creates small fixed size block of data like message digest, and we also have an encryption based on this, that is MD5. Hash value from M, if HM, that is the hash M HM complement, then M is equal to M complement RM comma. It means the message has not been modified. So that comparison is actually done here on the last slide. If you can see over here, here the compare word is written over here, and then this comparison over here is done at this level, M into M, and once they are same, that it means there's no modification or no alteration in the data. The common message digest function, that's exactly what I told you, MD5, which produce a 128-bit hash, and SHA-1, which outputs a 160-bit hash. So look at this, hash size is also increased, and SHA-1 is another algorithm that is used for this purpose. Authentication of MAC is generated by, this is MAC stand for message authentication code. MAC is generated by an algorithm that create a small fixed size block depending on both message and some keys. And you can see over here in this diagram, you have again a simple message, then encryption message with the key, and then the ciphertext, and then onward it is transferred over here to the destination node, where you can have the same process. The ciphertext is obtained with the help of key, and then you compare both of them, and once they are same, then it means there is no alteration, no modification. Receiver performs same computation on message and check it matches the MAC, and if it's so, if matches the MAC, then it means it is the same message he received without any alteration. It provides assurance that message is unaltered and comes from the sender side. Over here you can see symmetric encryption used in message authentication code, and in simple example you can see SK into M, and then onward the authentication over here. Let me explain it over here by a simple example for you people. So for example, this is a sender site, and he want to send a message that is 1011010 1. So look at this, how many number of ones are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he will send over here, for example, 101. 5 binary is equal to 101. Now he will send this message to the user. This is called checksum. And now on the receiver side, he received the same message over here. You can see. So, but there is an error. For example, we intentionally add an error. We convert this second 0 into 1, and then 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. Right? So over here he has 105, 101, 101. So now when the receiver get this message, he look at this message, there are 6, let me, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. So number of ones are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the total number of ones are 6, and over here the CRC will come at 110. But when he compare it with this one, it means there is no match. Then he identify the error. But if he received the same message over here like this, 10110101, and it has 101. Now if he compare it with, here is 101, here is 101, it means the data is correct and it is received without error. So this is actually the type of code that you are sending in terms of message authentication code, and this code actually verify over here on this side that either there is an error, just like in this example I show you that there is an error. Yeah, Rod, is there any question?
Yeah, on your checksum, I thought checksums were calculated a lot more, not quite as simple as what you just defined there. And I could see where if a 1 got changed to a 0 and a 0 got changed to a 1, your checksum is going to be the same, but it's not the same message.
No, actually, when it change from 0 to 1, then the checksum is 110. And with
I
the help of
understand.
this, he actually identified this error. That's an example. I explained it over here. Here is 101.
I understand that.
Huh.
But if you take your original message and you have 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, so that you have two digits that flipped.
And no, we don't have the original message over here.
You calculated the checksum as the number of ones that existed in the message, right?
Yeah.
If I change a 1 to a 0, and then a different bit that is a 0 to a 1, I still have 5 ones.
Yeah.
But it's a different message.
You are right. But in that case, you have to change 2 bits. But in that case, it is 1 bit change. So if you are going to 2-bit change, then definitely this error will be passed, and the user will consider it as the correct message, and it will misguide the user as well. Therefore, we can correct a message till 1 bit, till 2 bits, and sometime till 3 bits. But that is actually a topic of advanced security techniques. And this is just the basics about the distributed system security. You can even change 2 bits, 3 bits, and 4 bits. But after 4 bits, the system or the sender will preferably go for retransmission of that data or that information. The reason is that after 3 bits, it is very difficult to do the computation. You can still do that, but it will take longer time. And that's why preferably the sender will go for retransmission of that data. Right?
Right. Yes, thank you.
Welcome. So now moving toward digital certificates. Yeah, look at this, the digital certificate. We have looked at message authentication, but doesn't address issues of lack of trust. So look at this, how much you can trust someone. Digital signature provides the ability to verify authors, date, and time of signature as well. Like in case of your credit card, the bank is providing that authentication. Bank is providing the necessary information to the shop, to the person with whom you are doing the transaction. Authenticate message content, and it can be verified by third parties to resolve the dispute. Trusted party receive proof of identification from entity and certify that public key belongs to that entity. And that's why, look at this. This is the verification from bank, that you just give your PIN, you insert your credit card or debit card, you give your PIN, and then the machine actually contacted your bank, and the bank verified that this card belongs to you, and you have enough amount of money in your bank account to do this transaction. So this is actually the certificate authority. The certificate authority are the trusted party, and they are public key, including with web browser distribution as well. And you can see over here that the same asymmetric keys, digital signature algorithms, and authenticators are used over here. And they also have the same signature. The authenticators and the verification keys are both used over here, as we discussed at the authenticator and MAC side. So I think this is the last slide. Then we will start from the key distribution in the next slide. So here, why authentication if a subset of encryption is there? Then here you can see that there are a few computation involved over here. Authenticator is very important to ensure that either the user is the same that he claims and he is providing the correct information. Sometimes wants authentication but not confidentiality. Sometimes it is the system requirement as well, that they want to ensure that either the user is in authentic, and once he ensure or he show that he is an authentic user, then the system give him full access. And later on he don't care about that what he is doing or what is the requirement. Similarly, it can be based for non-repudiation take as well. So from next class, we will start from this key distribution. And I think this is enough for today, because I don't want to